Let us discuss the sum of interior angle of a regular polygon. Sum of interior angle of a regular polygon. How do you get sum of interior angle of a regular polygon? It is very easy. We use the formula to get the sum, of the interior angle of a regular polygon we use the formula 2n minus 4. We close the bracket, you multiply by 90 degrees, where n is the number of sides. Where n is the number of sides of that polygon. Let us take a very simple example. For instance, I have an octagon. What did we say octagon is? An octagon is an 8-sided figure. So I may ask you, what is the sum of interior angle of an octagon? So, for example, calculate the sum of interior angle of, let us take this example, Roman 1, octagon, Roman 2, pentagon. What you have to know is that, what do we know about an octagon? An octagon is an 8-sided polygon. Therefore, this one has 8 sides. Pentagon is a 5-sided polygon. Therefore, it has 5 sides. This will help you to substitute for n. Therefore, for an octagon, n is equals to 8. I'm going to substitute in our formula 2n minus 4 bracket 90. And in integers, operation of all numbers, we learned that bracket means multiplication. So whenever we have a term that is enclosed in a bracket and we have another term outside the bracket, you have to open the bracket by multiplying. Therefore, this is 2n. 2n means 2 times n. So it will be 2 times 8 minus 4 times 90 degrees. We also learned about board mass. So we have 2 operations here. We have multiplication and we have subtraction. In mathematics, you first of all have to solve the multiplication before subtraction. Therefore, 2 times 8 is 16 minus 4 times 90 degrees. 16 minus 4 is what? 12. So times 90 degrees. And 12 times 90 will give you 1080 degrees. Therefore, the sum of interior angle of an 8-sided figure or polygon, that one is an octagon, is what? 1080 degrees. Are we together? That is a simple affair. Now let us solve for the pentagon. Let us solve for the pentagon. We have said that a pentagon, for pentagon n is equals to 5. That is the number of sides. So we simply use the formula 2n minus 4 times 90 degrees. So n is 5. So 2n means 2 times n, which is 2 times 5, minus 4 times 90 degrees. The same, we start by multiplication, then we subtract. So 2 times 5 is 10, minus 4 is 6, times 90 degrees. 6 times 90 gives you what? 540 what? Degrees. Therefore, the sum of interior angle of a pentagon is 540 degrees. And for your information, let me echo one thing. For regular polygon or irregular polygon, the sum of interior remains the same. So this formula holds for both regular and irregular, although in our introduction we said sum of interior angle of a regular polygon. So whether the polygon is regular or irregular, provided that you know the number of sides of that polygon, then you can get the sum of interior angle of that polygon by using the formula 2n minus 4 times 90, whereby n is the number of sides. You multiply, subtract, then you open the bracket by multiplying it by what? By 90 degrees. In some books, the same formula is given as n minus 2 times 1 into 180 degrees, for your information. These two formula means the same thing. Reason, if you open this bracket, 90 times 2n will give you 180n. 90 times 4 gives you what? 360. The same here. If you open the bracket, 180 times n gives you 180n, minus 180 times 2 gives you what? 360 degrees. So, when you come across this formula, n minus 2 times 180 means the same thing as 2n minus 4 times 90. What we did here is they simply factorized. Are we together? So that is it. Actually, this one is a simplification of this formula. They factored out 2 because this one, 2 is common here. So if you factor out 2, you remain with n minus 2, then times 90. Then you multiply 2 times 90, it becomes n minus 2 into 180 degrees. So this is a direct question whereby you are given the number of sides and you are asked to calculate the sum of interior angle of that polygon. So in our next lesson, we are going to do an inverse of this, a reversal question whereby you are given the sum of interior angle and you are asked to find the number of sides. Let us take an example. The sum of interior angle of a certain regular polygon is 720 degrees. Then you are asked to find A, the number of sides of the polygon, B, you are told to find the size of each interior angle. Each interior angle. Now this is a reverse question compared to our previous question. Reason, in our previous question, you are given the number of sides and you have to find or you have to compute the sum of interior. But for this case, you are given the sum of interior angle of that polygon and you are asked to find the number of sides of the polygon and the size of each interior angle. If this question was framed this way, the sum of interior angle of a certain irregular polygon, if it's irregular polygon, you won't be asked to find the size of each interior angle because for irregular polygon, they are not the same. So, let us solve. Number one, you have to solve for the number of sides. Number of sides. What do we use? We use the formula 2n minus 4 times 90 degrees or n minus 2 times 180 degrees. But I like using this. So, we know that the sum of interior angle is 720. Therefore, we are going to form a simple algebraic equation. Because this formula gives you the sum of interior. And the good thing, we already know the sum is what? 720 degrees. The next step is you open the brackets. You open the bracket. So, 90 times 2n gives you 180n minus 90 times 4 gives you 360 degrees, and this should give you 720 degrees. The next step in solving algebraic equation is we take these 360 degrees to the other side. So, if here is minus, when this one goes to the other side, it becomes a positive. So this one becomes 180n is equals to, you take this to the other side, it becomes 720 plus 360 degrees. So you get here 180n is equals to 720 degrees plus 360 degrees. That one will give you 1080 degrees. So the next step is we divide both sides by the coefficient of n, which is 180. Because when you are solving an algebraic equation, we want to know the value of the unknown. The unknown here is n. So you should remain with 1n here. So I divide both sides by 180 and both sides by 180 degrees. So an 80n divided by 180 gives you 1n, which is the same as n. 1080 divided by 180 is what? 6. Therefore, the number of sides of a polygon is 6 sides. And a 6-sided polygon is called what? A hexagon. We are going to do the last part of our question, and that is, you are told to find the size of each interior angle. So part B is on finding the size of each interior angle. So B is on finding the size of each interior angle. Now, for our question, we know that we are given that the sum of interior angle is 720 degrees. We also know that the number of sides is 6. Now I want to know the size of each interior angle. Now let me take back you here. If this is a triangle has how many sides? 1, 2, 3. So the number of sides is 3. A triangle has how many interior angles? It has 1, 2, 3 interior angles. So the angles also are what? 3, the same with this. If a polygon has 6 sides, therefore the number of interior angle is 6. To get each interior angle means 1, you divide the sum of interior angle by the number of sides, because the number of sides is the same as the number of angles. Therefore, each interior angle is therefore 720 degrees divided by 6, and that one gives you what? 120 degrees. That is one application of using the sum of interior angle to get the number of sides. So you may be asked the size of each interior angle. So inshallah, in our next class, we shall discuss on sum of exterior angle of a polygon. Thank you.